Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. We are wrapping up Dominaria United pre-release weekend, and it's a good time to check in on the market, see what's happening. Obviously, some of these new cards are impacting the prices of cards in the secondary market. You're going to see that throughout the video today. And there's some other things happening as well. Quickly before we get into the details though, just a fast reminder, if you go to FlipsideGaming.com, you can use the Heroes promo code to save 10% on orders over $10. Currently, you can pre-order Dominaria United products there. They also have a whole lot of other things on their website as well. Remember, if your order's over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. Also, whenever you use the Heroes promo code, it does support the channel, which is always appreciated. So thank you. And without any further ado, let's get into it. We'll begin with the standard legal spotlight. So obviously rotation is about to happen. So standard is quiet right now. People are waiting to see what decks are going to rise to the top in this new environment. But I do have a couple cards to mention. First, we have Hopeful Initiate. This is the Innistrad double feature copy. It goes down to 11 this week to 977. And this one is moving down after some recent increases that were caused mostly by Pioneer. In Pioneer, you see this in mono white humans, Bant humans. The mono white variation of that deck is performing very well in this meta, seeing a lot of play. Now, Dominaria United is bringing some cards that play with +1/+1 counters, and considering there is going to be a leaner standard going forward post-rotation, this could get a good amount of play there. Additionally, this does see some commander play in various builds, including Brina the Demagogue. And the last card in this section is Teferi, who slows the sunset. The Innistrad Midnight Hunt copy is up 250 to 950. The Innistrad double feature copy really dried up online this week, in theory going up $16.67 to $24.99, but that price is really inflated due to high asking prices on the remaining copies currently. I'm sure that's going to normalize back down very soon. This is another card that could see more standard play in the future post-rotation in the leaner environment. And it is also getting pushed by a couple artifacts from Dominaria United that come into play tapped. The first one is Timeless Lotus, and Teferi could be poised to see more play in standard as well as other formats alongside that card. Simply, it could untap Timeless Lotus much in the same way that it untaps Nykthos Shrine to Nyx for extra mana in those Pioneer decks. Also, the professor from Tolarian Community College mentioned this week that Karn Silex might play well with Teferi in those Pioneer ramp builds, which are already popular in the format. They have been seeing more play recently, and I'm referring to the Bant 4-color and 5-color ramp decks that are out there. Beyond that, this is also found in a number of commander builds, including a Traxa Praetor's Voice, and it is showing up in early deck lists around a new legendary creature from Dominaria United as well, Shayna Purifying Blade. Aside from all that, the Brothers War is going to bring a whole bunch of new artifacts as well. Some of those could push Teferi in the future too. That quickly takes us to the Pioneer Legal Spotlight. We have some cards going down in value, some going up. First is Terror of the Peaks. It goes down 210 this week to 3605. So recently this got hot with many other dragons due to the support the tribe received from Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. There is even more dragon support coming now though in Dominaria United, and some dragons are still moving up this week. You're going to see that later in the video. This one, however, is retracting some. It's found in many different commander builds, including some popular dragon ones like the Dragon, Miram Sentinel Worm, and Tiamat. Crucible of Worlds, the core set 2019 copy, is down $228 this week to $27.95. This was reprinted in Double Masters 2022, which is why it's still soft. In Legacy, you see this in 8-cast. Vintage, it's in Prison and Aggro shops. And it does get a lot of commander play in various builds like Omnith Locus of Creation. Plus, this is another card that I have seen in an early deck list around a new Dominaria United card. This time it's a box topper card. Hazazan, Shaper of Sand. Last card moving down in this section is Emrakul, the Promised End. It goes down 367 this week to 79.82. This was jumping pretty aggressively not too long ago, but now it continues to retract and find its price point based on the current amount of play that it sees. Pioneer, it's in Gruul Ramp, but it was really the modern format that was pushing this for a while. It's an Omnith Locus of Creation builds there, and those have been performing very well, gaining momentum recently. This is also an Amulet Titan and more decks in the format. Plus, sometimes it's used as a commander, and it's part of the 99 of many builds there, including Kozilek the Great Distortion. Hellkite Tyrant, this is the one from Commander 2016. It goes up $2 to $11.95. And here's one of those dragons that's still moving up this week due to all the recent support we discussed. You see this in many commander builds like Kali of the Vast, Miram Sentinel Worm, the Ur-Dragon, and more. It's even an early deck list around a new Dominaria United card, Maria, Scholar of Antiquity. Next we have Cyclonic Rift. This time it's the Return to Ravnica copy going up 213 this week to 3766. Sure, you see this in Modern, Mono Blue Tron, but it's better known as a huge commander card. It's in many decks in that format, including a Drechsler Praetor's Voice. Basically, though, if you're playing blue and commander, you probably want a copy of this in your deck. And the last card in this section is the Chain Veil. This time we're looking at the copy from the list. It was in the list from Zendikar Rising through Midnight Hunt, which was a while. It goes up 369 this week to 2298. This is seeing a lot of Pioneer play now in various ramp decks there, like I mentioned. Those are doing really well in the format. It does get a good amount of commander play too. It's in Attracts the Praetor's Voice and many other builds there. Dominaria United is also bringing a bunch of new Planeswalkers, including the front-facing commanders for the 2 commander decks, and a box topper Planeswalker that can be used as a commander as well. These cards could be pushing this to a degree too. In fact, on the Command Zone podcast this week, they discussed using the Chain Veil with the commander from the Legends Legacy commander deck, the Hada Binder of Wills. And that brings us to the Modern Legal Spotlight. Again, we have some cards going down in value, some going up. First one moving down is Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, the copy from Modern Masters 2015. It goes down to 267 this week to 5336. This was in the list for Strixhaven and Modern Horizons 2, but more importantly, when it comes to this price shift, it was reprinted in Double Masters 2022. That's why it is soft right now. In Modern, sometimes you see this in Mono Green Tron, in Legacy it's in Mono Green Cloudpost, and it's also a solid commander card in lots of decks, including Kozilek the Great Distortion. Next we have Mystic Gate. This is the Shadowmoor copy down $2.94 this week to $31. The Modern builds where you saw this are not getting as much play as they once did, but they're still around. This is also in the mana base of many different commander builds. Cavern of Souls, the Ultimate Masters copy down $2.98 this week to $70.84. This was in the list from Kaldheim through Crimson Vow. However, again, the main reason it's been softer is because it was reprinted in Double Masters 2022. Regardless, though, card sees a ton of play. In Modern, this is an Amulet Titan, Glimpse Combo, and much more. Legacy, it's in Doomsday, Mono Green Cloudpost, and more there. Vintage, you see this in Esper Aggro and Goblins, and it's a huge commander card too, found in many decks, including the Ur-Dragon. Emrakul, the Jenstorn, the Rise of the Eldrazi copy down $3.11 this week to $40.84. Now, this was in the list from Zendikar Rising through Kaldheim, but more importantly, again, when it comes to the reason it's been losing the value it has recently, it was reprinted in Double Masters 2022. In Modern, you see this in Archon of Cruelty builds. It's also in Calibrated Blast decks that don't run Archon and Enchantress there. In Legacy, you see this in Sneak and Show, Mono Green Cloudpost, and Omnitel. And our last card going down today is Amuria the Sky Ruin. This goes down $3.57 this week to $17.10, but it is the copy from the list. It was only there for Zendikar Rising. Now, you might know this already from the videos, but this copy of the card has had some pretty turbulent pricing trends due to lack of copies online. It is a solid commander card in many builds, though, including a very popular one, Giada Font of Hope. First card moving up in this section is Chalice of the Void. This is the original one from Mirrodin. It goes up $2.26 this week to $64. Continues to be a huge Modern sideboard card. It's an Omnith Locus of Creation builds, Mono Green Tron, and much more. Legacy and Vintage, though, it can even show up in main decks. Legacy, you see this in 8-cast, Colorless Cloudpost, and more. Vintage, it's in Prison Shops, Aggro Shops, and more there. This also gets a little commander play, but I am seeing it now show up in some early deck lists around a new card from Dominaria United, and that again is Maria, Scholar of Antiquity. The Time Spiral remastered copy of Yawgmoth Ran Physician is next. It goes up $2.76 this week to $48. Yawgmoth builds are still seeing a lot of play in Modern. This is also a fairly popular commander, and it's in the 99 of many builds there too. Again, I have seen this in some early deck lists around a new card from Dominaria United as well, Rada Drabic of Urborg. Windswept Heath, this is the Onslaught copy of the original. It's up $3.14 this week to $65, and this continues to rebound after some recent losses. It is a fetch land, so you know it's going to see a lot of play. In Modern, it's an Omnith Locus of Creation builds, Gruul midrange, sometimes Hammer Time, and more. Legacy, it's in Selesnya Depths, Elves, and more there. And it's a big commander land card found in a lot of decks in that format. There's even a new 5-color deck that's running this, as well as some other fetches. The build is around Jodah the Unifier from Dominaria United. Phyrexian Obliterator. This is the one from the list. It was there from Zendikar Rising through Modern Horizons 2. It goes up $3.19 this week to $39.54. In general, this card has been hot because it is a good upgrade to the Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate Mind Flayers commander deck, and it's in fresh builds around the front-facing commander from there, Captain Agathron. I will say though, the reason this copy's jumping the way it is this week is because it was behind the other copies a little bit. Now it is caught up. Also keep in mind this is a Phyrexian, so with Phyrexians being a key part of Dominaria United, and we know there's going to be more of them coming in subsequent sets, something could spark this card again in the future. Doubling Season, 3 copies to talk about today. Double Masters up 259 to 93.66, the Modern Masters copy up 376 to 91.68, and the Ravnica City of Guilds copy up 430 to 94.99. Well, you know, this is a huge commander card. It's in tons of builds there, including a Traxa Praetor's Voice again. The thing about this card, though, is every time we get a new Magic product, it brings more cards that play well with it. Dominaria United is no exception. This week, the Command Zone podcast discussed using this card with one of the front-facing commanders from Dominaria United. This time it is Jared Carthalion from the Painbow commander deck. And the last card moving up in this section is Dandane from Time Spiral. It goes up 869 this week to 990. Okay, so this copy of the card got bought out online. Now, we saw this happen a few weeks ago, too. The card spiked, and then it went back down as more copies entered the marketplace. I anticipate something similar will happen this time. The buyout is very much directed at this copy of the card. No other copies have moved, including the original from Arabian Nights. So you might be asking yourself, why would somebody be interested in buying this out? Well, there is a reason. There is a shared deck format called Dandane or Forgetful Fish, where the deck runs 10 copies of this. A lot of times you'll see people casually playing with this like in between rounds of tournaments and such. Additionally, this gets a tad bit of commander play too, but I do think it is that format that is driving this buyout. And that takes us to the Vintage Spotlight. This is where we talk about cards that see play in Legacy, Vintage, and also cards that are popular this week among collectors. Prices in this section may be a little more reminiscent at times of what you might see on a price tracking website, since at least for some of the cards, they don't see a whole lot of sales in any given week, which means we do have to lean a little bit harder on asking price in those cases. Also, for some of the older, more iconic cards you see in this section, the price on the screen could fall somewhere in between the price of a high-grade raw and high-grade graded copy of the card. If the price isn't falling somewhere close to the middle of those two types of cards, or just in general, if the price is not lining up with what I'm seeing from recent sales, I'll let you know. First, we have Mana Crypt from Mystery Booster. This goes up $357 this week to $187.48. Now, Wizards did sell more Mystery Booster Convention Edition boxes as part of a secret layer bundle called Festival in a Box, which means some more copies of this could be hitting the marketplace. In Vintage, this is in 4-color Tinker, Paradoxical Outcome, and more. And of course, this gets lots of commander play. It's in builds like Urza Lord High Artificer, for example. It is also a good upgrade to the Heads I Win, Tails You Lose secret layer commander deck. Additionally, a week ago, there was some discussion around this card on an MTG Finance message board, which might have brought some attention to it. Next, we have Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes up $380 this week to $1444. This has started appearing at times in some legacy builds. We'll have to see if that sticks, but that's part of the reason the card's been hot recently. Regardless, though, it is a fairly popular new commander, and it appears in the 99 of some builds too. City of Traders up $460 this week to $264.91. This is in Legacy Painter, Sneak and Show, and more. This also gets some commander play too in Finn the Fangbearer and other decks there. I have seen this in early deck lists around a card found in the Dominaria United Commander deck Legends Legacy, and that card is Varak, Warped Sengir. Ancient Tomb, the Ultimate Masters copy is up $358 this week to $69.99. The Tempest copy is up $489 to $79.89. This was in the list from Midnight Hunt through Neon Dynasty. Sees a lot of play in Legacy. This is in Painter, 8-cast, and much more. Vintage, you see this in Prison Shops, Aggro Shops, and Goblins. And it is a big Commander mana base card too in lots of different decks. Phyrexian Dreadnought from Mirage. This goes up $520 this week to $99.96. So this being a reserveless Phyrexian may become an indicator of how the market is feeling about the tribe in general. We've seen that with other cards. For example, Goblin Wizard when it comes to Goblins, or Radiant Archangel when it comes to Angels. This card, however, sees more play than those. This is in Legacy Stifle Gnaw, and it currently does get a little commander play in Sabala Heart of the Wilds and other builds there. Grim Monolith up $561 this week to $295. In Legacy, you see this one in Colorless Cloudpost, Mystic Forge Combo, the Epic Gamble, and it is found in a number of different commander builds, including Urza Lord High Artificer. Helm of Obedience. This is up $1060 this week to $72. Sometimes this appears in Legacy Mono Black Depths. This also gets a little commander play in Lavinia, Azorius Renegade, and some other builds. Additionally, I did see it in early deck lists around another card from Dominaria United too, Zur Eternal Schemer. Reverse Damage from Unlimited. This is moving up $15 this week to $79.99. Mox Diamond from Stronghold goes up $13.56 to $649.98. Legacy, this is in Selesnya Depths, lands 4-color Loam. This also gets a good amount of commander play too in Urzalor High Artificer and other decks. Plus, this is another card I've seen in an early deck list around a Dominaria United card. Again, that card is Maria, Scholar of Antiquity. Blessing from Unlimited is next. It goes up $16.49 this week to $137.46. Elvish Archers from Unlimited goes up $19.04 to $92.38. Bayou from Revised up $19.81 to $499.99. Northern Paladin from Unlimited goes up $20.29 to $105.75. Old Man of the Sea goes up $47.10 to $487. Savannah Lions from Unlimited goes up $104.98 to $449.97. Is that for real? Well, high-grade raw copies can hit about $270. I have not seen a high-grade graded copy sell for a while. If the grade was high enough, it could get close to this price perhaps. And the last card in this section this week is Power Leech. It goes up $153.45 to $244.44. Is that for real? Well, this became the target of a reserve list buyout late last week. Earlier this week, Alpha Investments mentioned the buyout in a video, which might have brought some attention to it. Since the buyout occurred, I've looked at some recent sales. High-grade raw copies are selling for about $70. There was a graded 10 copy that sold for over $400 recently. Obviously, 10s are very rare, but that could be contributing to the high asking prices of the remaining cards on the market, and it also could have been the catalyst for the original buyout to begin with. And that brings us to the Commander Spotlight. So all the cards in this section are moving, at least in part, because of Commander. There could also be other factors, and in some cases, Commander might not even be the key driver, but I'll let you know as we go through. Ruby Medallion from Tempest. It goes up $2.15 this week to $34.64. This is in many different Commander decks, including Krenko Mob Boss. Balefire Dragon, the Ultimate Masters copy, goes up $2.22 this week to $36.98. This was in the list from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms through Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. It is another dragon still moving up because of the support we discussed earlier. You see this in a number of Commander builds, including the Ur-Dragon, and I have seen it in early deck lists around a couple different cards from Commander Legends. Rith, Liberated Primeval, and Ravaz of the Claw. Zaburi, Golden Feather, is up $2.37 this week to $11.40. Currently, this doesn't see a lot of play, but it is a reserve list card that is getting a push because of a Dominaria United Commander Preview card. The card is Xerium Golden Wind from the Legends Legacy Commander deck. It's a new Griffin, it's legendary, and some people began speculating on Griffins as soon as that card was revealed. Will this speculation actually pay off in the form of gameplay in Commander? Well, time will tell. I know some people are trying it out. I've already seen Zaburi in some Xerium deck lists. But I do think this initial spike is tied into the speculation more than the gameplay. Look who's back, the Ur-Dragon from Commander 2017. This only comes in foil. It goes up $2.43 this week to $77.47. This is the most popular Dragon Commander. It's on the move again because of all the new Dragon support we discussed earlier. It can show up in the 99 of builds too there, but usually when you see it, it is the Commander. Worldly Tutor, this is the one from Commander Collection Green. It goes up $2.48 this week to $33.65. It's a tutor, so you know it's going to get a good amount of Commander play. You see this in a variety of builds in the format. Urza's Incubator from Commander Anthology Volume 2. It goes up $2.61 this week to $54.22. Another popular Commander card in lots of builds, including the Ur-Dragon. Sliver Queen, this is up $4.42 this week to $331.46. Recently, a few slivers were reprinted and sent out as the surprise cards with some of the secret layers. This, along with some speculation that slivers may return in an upcoming set, led to more interest around this reserve list legendary sliver. It is sometimes used as a commander for sliver builds, but most of the time when you see it, it's in the 99 of other decks, like Sliver Overlord or the first sliver, for example. Replenish, this is up $5.40 to $113.54. Sometimes you see this in enchantment-heavy commander builds, like Goshintai of Life's Origin, for example. It is in deck lists around a new Dominaria United card, though, too, Zur, Eternal Schemer. Metal Worker, this is up $7.32 this week to $149.99. It does get Commander play in a variety of decks, including Kozilek the Great Distortion. Time Spiral goes up $7.80 this week to $169.99. This is in some different Commander builds, including Urza Lord High Artificer. Clouth Unrivaled Ancient. This is up $10.16 this week to $26.51. It is from the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms Draconic Rage Commander deck, and we're talking about the foil copy from that deck today. There's also an extended art copy out there too. Obviously, this has been hot because of the push for the Dragon Tribe we discussed earlier. It is used as a commander, but more frequently you see this in the 99 of many decks, including Miram Sentinel Worm. It's also in deck lists around a Dominaria United card, Rith Liberated Primeval, but there's also been a lot of speculation that you could see this show up in Commander Jodah the Unifier builds, or that this could simply be a good upgrade to the Painbow Commander deck. It does synergize with the front-facing commander there, Jared Carthalion. Jeweled Lotus remains hot. This goes up $11.37 this week to $114.19. Huge commander card here, and this one is in many builds, including Urza Lord High Artificer. It was also discussed along with Mana Crypt in that thread on the MTG Finance message board I mentioned earlier. Might have brought some attention to it. Razor Claw Bear back again up $15.16 to $82.42. Older cards yet to be reprinted, and it can be tough to find in high grade online. Some players are building a Eula Queen Among Bears commander decks now because of the reprinting of Bearscape and the Pride Across the Multiverse Secret Lair. This is one of the more expensive bears to get for those builds. That's going to take us to the premium spotlight. Every week there's so many premium cards spiking, crashing. There's a lot of turbulence in general in that part of the market because many of these cards don't get a whole lot of sales in any given week, so there's a lot of instability. We can't possibly cover everything that's happening there, but I try to discuss at least a card every week that feels like it's moving maybe in a more permanent way. This week I did select just one card. Let's take a look at it. Percentage-wise, not a huge increase here, but I thought it was interesting to point out. Grim Monolith. This is the Urza's Legacy foil. Very hard to find in high grade. It goes up $50 this week to $3,450. So since this does not get a whole lot of sales, what's up with this price? Is it more based on asking price? Is this legitimately accurate? Well, I have seen a high-grade raw copy sell for around this price recently. A graded 9 sold not too long ago for about $3,700. So yeah, for the most part, this seems accurate, perhaps a little low. Alright, that is going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. As always, hey, if you made it to the end, thanks for being here. I appreciate that. Until next time, though, hey, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.